Two projects that I think are very valuable for the community that I think that the 4B could also help fund is, the first one is the Glen Road Certified Retirement Community. You get it certified as a retirement community. There's a couple communities like Clifton that have done so. There's not really one. The closest one would be Clifton to here. I've looked at the program. I've analyzed all the questions and the answers and how you would put a plan together for that. We would score very easily as a certified retirement community. And I think it's something that we really ought to look strongly at. It costs about $5,000, and you have to be recertified every couple of years. But I would like to have the board, before we fund that, and move that forward, because every retired couple that you bring to town is equivalent to 1.5 jobs. So I believe that there is a nexus for the 4B to be involved in something like that to help bring retirees to the community, which is an economic impact for doing so. The second one was a program that came up in our discussion in one of our board meetings that Billy Huckabee brought up about being focused on the Main Street program. We used to be a Main Streets community. I looked at that community and through the History Foundations, how it's set up. And I think it's a very valuable program and something our downtown desperately needs. What it requires, however, is it requires you to hire a full-time administrator. And from what I understand in the past, that's maybe where it fell down in the past, is that we didn't have a full-time person. It requires a full-time administrator now. The budgets, if I remember right, they gave you an estimate of budget of about $80,000 a year, which includes the salary and all the things you do to fund the Main Streets program. So it's a significant expenditure. However, applications come out 1st of April. You have to apply by May something as an interested party. By the end of July, you have to have your application submitted. So we can't do anything this year in terms of getting to be a Main Streets entity this year, but I think we ought to be putting the work in place and setting our sights towards that, so that next April, when it comes around, that we have the resources available to become Main Streets, make an application to be a Main Streets community. So with that, that's basically the budget the presentation I would like to make to you today. In considerations of our budgets, we need some direction as to what the City Council feels about these programs and other programs that you have in mind. We would like to hear from you as to what you're thinking, and that we ask that at your next City Council meeting, if you can, take up the item of getting that 7th board member appointed so that they have the full board. Any questions?
Darrell, on the Main Street coordinator and the events,
yes,
could that be the same person?
I believe it could be the same person.
At least to start with?
Yes.
So where you maximize your...
Yes. That would be my recommendation, and I don't see that I didn't see anything in the Main Street program that would exclude us from
it all sort of ties.
Yeah.
I want to give you a couple of pictures too on the bridge I took up in Old just FYI.
Yeah. Exactly what I was thinking, yeah.
I think we did have a full-time Main Street person one time, didn't we? I don't know how long it was or why it went away, but
well,
just a couple of years we had.
Yeah, we had 3 different ladies that were Main Street.
Okay.
Actually 4.
Okay.
And it lasted, I think, what, 2 or 3 years?
Each one about 2 or 3. It was during my 90s when I was on there.
At some point, council just decided the program wasn't being as productive as the cost we were putting into it, and it just got stopped.
I think part of it too at the time was, the downtown association wasn't really strong, and the only thing we could afford at that time was to hire somebody straight out of college. Most of these ladies were very young. They didn't have really any experience in doing this, and so it was really hard to get going. They go and they have confidence with merchants that this would work.
Well, I don't know if I don't know if the program was like this a couple of years ago, but they do have a training seminar that you go to now, so you train your coordinator.
I don't know, this is very nice.
I think the state used to fund a lot more of it than what they do now, so they don't provide much funding anymore. They do provide a lot of training.
I went on the website and I looked at some of the communities, and they only select 5 a year communities, and with that Main Street program that's done for those communities, it's been tremendous. And I think it's something that we all really look strong at. Like I said, we can't do much this year other than prepare ourselves, but for next year I would really think that we can be on board, so when the application open up that we're right there and ready to go.